The Nissan Altima isn't just another mid-size sedan, it's one of the defining vehicles of its class in America. For more than 3 decades, the Altima has quietly, confidently established itself as a reliable, stylish, and sometimes surprisingly sporty alternative to the segment's giants like the Honda Accord and Toyota Camry. With over 6 million units sold in the US alone, it holds the title of the best-selling Nissan model in the country's history. But how did it get there? The story begins in 1992, when Nissan needed a car specifically built for the tastes and roads of North America. Up to that point, the brand offered the Stanza, a sensible but unremarkable compact sedan. But for the 1993 model year, Nissan replaced the Stanza with the all-new Altima, designed and built in the US, rolling off the line in Smyrna, Tennessee. The first-generation Altima was compact but cleverly packaged. It featured a 2.4-liter inline-4 engine known as the KA24DE, producing 150 horsepower, plenty for a car that weighed under 2,900 pounds. Drivers could choose between a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic. The styling was understated, with rounded lines typical of early 90s Japanese sedans, but there were quirky touches too, like the vertically mounted digital clock tucked into the A-pillar. Inside, the cabin was clean and logical, with simple cloth seats and a center stack dominated by large rotary knobs. There were 4 trim levels, XE, GXE, SE, and GLE, with the SE offering a sportier suspension and alloy wheels, while the GLE leaned more toward comfort with additional power features and cruise control. Though it didn't set sales records at launch, the Altima carved out a respectable niche as a fun-to-drive and affordable compact that bridged the gap between the Sentra and Maxima. By the time the second-generation Altima arrived in 1998, Nissan had refined the formula. The car's body grew slightly in every direction, adding to interior space and road presence. The exterior styling was smoother, more aerodynamic, and more modern-looking. The same 2.4-liter engine remained, but Nissan fine-tuned the intake system, giving it up to 160 horsepower in certain trims. The interior also got a noticeable upgrade, with better materials, more sound insulation, and new available features like a CD player, leather upholstery, and keyless entry. Safety was enhanced with optional side airbags. The trim ladder stayed familiar, XE, GXE, SE, and GLE. This generation solidified the Altima's reputation for durability and value, and while it still flew somewhat under the radar compared to the Camry and Accord, it was gaining momentum. The real breakout moment came with the third generation in 2002. This was the Altima's leap into the big leagues. Built on the new Nissan FFL platform, which it shared with the Maxima and later the Murano, the Altima grew dramatically in size, now firmly planted in the mid-size segment. The base engine was a new 2.5-liter inline-4, QR25DE, with 175 horsepower, but the showstopper was the available 3.5-liter V6, VQ35DE, which could pump out up to 260 horsepower. Suddenly, the Altima wasn't just a practical family sedan, it was one of the fastest in its class. The V6 models were known for their thrilling acceleration, especially when paired with the manual transmission. Even the 4-cylinder versions delivered satisfying performance, and the ride-handling balance was sharper than most competitors. Visually, this generation marked a radical departure from the safe designs of the past. The third-gen Altima featured bold, oversized headlamps, a sculpted hood, and a prominent grille. Inside, it was roomy, so roomy, in fact, that some critics compared its interior volume to full-size sedans. Nissan offered upscale features like a power driver's seat, heated leather seats, a premium Bose sound system, and even a DVD-based navigation system in later years. The Altima was evolving from a budget car to a mainstream favorite. It worked, the car sold extremely well and attracted a new audience who wanted something different from the Camry Accord formula. The fourth generation debuted in 2007 and brought with it even more ambition. It was built on a refined version of the FFL platform, and for the first time, Nissan introduced a 2-door coupe variant alongside the traditional sedan. The coupe was shorter in wheelbase and aimed at younger drivers who wanted sporty styling in an affordable package. Meanwhile, the sedan became even more refined. The front fascia adopted a more premium look, and the body lines were smoother and more sculpted. The engines remained mostly the same, a 2.5-liter four-cylinder and the potent 3.5-liter V6, but the big news was the widespread adoption of Nissan's Stronach CVT. While traditionalists grumbled about the lack of gears, the CVT helped the Altima achieve impressive fuel economy numbers and smooth acceleration. Inside, the Altima was now fully competitive with the best in the segment. Push-button start became standard, a rarity at the time, and higher trims offered dual-zone climate control, a rear-view camera, and advanced audio options. Safety was improved with optional stability control and side curtain airbags. Nissan also dipped its toe into hybrid technology with the Altima Hybrid, introduced in 2007 and offered in select states. It combined Nissan's engineering with Toyota's hybrid system and delivered nearly 35 miles per gallon in city driving. Though the hybrid didn't last long, it showed Nissan's willingness to innovate. By the time the fifth-generation Altima rolled out in 2013, the car had fully matured into a modern, efficient, and tech-forward midsize sedan. The coupe and hybrid were discontinued, and the focus shifted entirely to the four-door sedan. This generation was built on an all-new D platform, lighter and stiffer than before. The styling was more conservative, but elegant, with a front end inspired by the larger Maxima. The 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine was updated to produce up to 182 horsepower, while the 3.5-liter V6 remained a torque-rich option at 270 horsepower. The CVT was further refined, making it one of the smoothest and most fuel-efficient in the business. Nissan put major effort into the interior. The zero-gravity seats were a highlight, developed using NASA research to reduce fatigue during long drives. Cabin noise was drastically reduced, materials were upgraded, and the dashboard design was horizontal and modern. A new 7-inch touchscreen offered navigation, smartphone integration, and access to apps. Safety was a major selling point. Forward collision warning, blind spot monitoring, and lane departure warning became available across multiple trims. With fuel economy ratings as high as 38 miles per gallon highway, the Altima became one of the most efficient non-hybrid midsize sedans on the market. Sales surged. By 2014, Nissan sold over 335,000 Altimas in a single year, a record that cemented its place at the top of the midsize game. Then came the sixth and current generation in 2019, a bold reimagining of what the Altima could be in the modern era. The styling was a radical departure from the past, drawing inspiration from the Motion 2.0 concept. The front end featured a deep V-motion grille flanked by slim LED boomerang headlights. The side profile was dynamic and coupe-like, with a floating roof design and a crisp shoulder line that gave it a planted, aggressive look. But perhaps the biggest mechanical story was the introduction of two new features, all-wheel drive and the revolutionary VC turbo engine. The 2.5-liter inline-four was redesigned for more power and better efficiency, now producing 188 horsepower. But the optional 2.0-liter VC turbo engine was something entirely different. It featured variable compression technology, allowing the engine to adjust its compression ratio on the fly for optimal performance or fuel economy. It delivered 248 horsepower and 273 lb-ft of torque while still being more efficient than the outgoing V6. Combined with the CVT, the VC turbo made the Altima feel both responsive and refined. Inside, the 6th-gen Altima saw a major tech infusion. A floating 8-inch touchscreen came standard, along with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Higher trims offered a 7-inch digital driver display, Wi-Fi hotspot, premium Bose audio, and a sleek new dashboard design with stitched soft-touch materials. Nissan's ProPilot Assist semi-autonomous driving system debuted on the Altima, offering lane centering and adaptive cruise control for highway driving. Heated front seats, a heated steering wheel, and memory functions brought luxury to the higher trims like SL and Platinum. The Altima continues to thrive in a shrinking sedan market by staying fresh and offering features buyers actually want, like all-wheel drive in a sea of front-wheel sedans. While the world shifts toward SUVs, the Altima proves there's still room for well-built, stylish, fuel-efficient sedans with strong value. In total, the Altima has gone through 6 generations, offered in body styles including sedan, coupe, and hybrid, and introduced innovations like variable compression engines and semi-autonomous driving features. From its humble compact origins in the early 90s to its high-tech, AWD-equipped form today, the Altima has never stopped evolving. It's practical, yes, but also innovative, often sporty, and always ready to serve the millions of Americans who just want a car that works, comfortably, efficiently, and dependably.